It used to be Michael B. Jordan or Jonathan Majors. Now it's Pedro Pascal, man.
Yep.
We should get that guy in Star Wars.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.
Hey, greetings, everybody. Welcome to 2023 and the new episode, the first episode.
We're still here.
Of the Hero Speak pod for the new year. And we're here for we're going to start with Star Wars today. What else do we start the new year with? Brand new Star Wars.
That's how the podcast started. It was Star Wars, and here we are, many years later.
Oh yeah, exactly. And less fighting now for this Star Wars, because we're going to talk Bad Batch, and then we're going to talk the first episode of Last of Us. We'll give a little peek about what we're thinking about this new series. But with me today, we have Mike, and we have James. How you guys doing? How was your new year? How's life?
Yeah. That's my response.
So
we're still alive.
I don't have to respond to it.
So
we're still alive.
The Heroes Peak HR asked me to read a statement, actually, because of some tweets I put out recently. So we here at the Heroes Peak denounce anti-Semitism in all forms, and we stand with our brothers and sisters in the Jewish community. Thank you. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, we're not sharing any of Kanye's posts this year.
That was good.
All right. So let's just talk a little bit of Bad Batch here. New season 2 came out, and we're 3 episodes in? I think the 4th episode just dropped tonight.
Dropped today. Yep.
Season 2 or season 3?
Season 3. He meant season 3.
Oh yeah.
I meant season 3. Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly what I meant to do.
It's okay.
It's all right. So, I think we have the whole cast is back. The whole same cast is back, and let's just. What have you guys liked or disliked about these first episodes compared to the previous seasons? And what was your general feeling about the seasons previous to this? I guess we'll also go into. So, James.
All right, let me go. Since Mike was thinking still, it seemed like, and I don't know if this is done on purpose or not, but the tone of this season got a little more grittier and darker. I don't know if it's on the back of Andor and how well Andor has been critically acclaimed, or maybe that's always the game plan. I'm not so sure. But it seems like we're getting a little more weight with the characters. We're getting a little more like introspective analysis of what exactly are they fighting for, what's their mission, and at least the first 3. I've seen the 4th episode today. It does kind of get back to a little bit of the campiness of the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But episode 3, last week's episode, really hit like something totally different that I did not expect that this Dave Filoni and the animated series would go. The first 2 seasons, although I did enjoy it, to me, I've watched just about every one of these animated shows that Star Wars has provided us, because I'm so, full of the cinematic universe, the movies has been the trilogy sequel that's out, or whatever you want to call it, sequel trilogy. So I've been really invested in the animated corner of Star Wars, and for the most part, I've been really I've been happy with what I've gotten as content. So Bad Batch to me was something I really wasn't looking for when it came out a couple years ago, season 1, and it hooked me. Mike was the one that's telling me, give this a shot, give this a shot. Season 2, I think, took it a little further with the story and developed some more of the characters. We all had our own fan theories and Easter eggs. Like, for example, is Omega a clone for Palpatine? It'll be used later. Was she Force sensitive? Whatnot. Do we see any of these characters in the future run of actual Star Wars? That being said, I think season 3 kind of took us with a different tone, which I liked. I enjoyed. And you have to keep in mind, a lot of the kids who are growing up watching these animated shows are growing up.
Right.
So imagine, for example, you're Eric's age and you first started Clone Wars when you were like 5, 6. Now you're 14 and you're watching these shows and you're growing with these shows. So obviously the storyline gets a little heavier, a little more mature. And it's good to see that. Obviously we've already at a certain age in our peak. So
wait. We're not 16. What are you talking about?
No, we're not 16. But I like to see where, and I hope the tone continues for the most part for season 3, because there's so much good storytelling you can tell with these characters without making it too campy, too like ooh pod racing, which is not a spoiler, but yeah.
It wasn't pod racing, because that was the first thing I said when I saw the track. I was like,
yeah, let's not spoil it for our audience.
I said, so my son was sitting with me, and he goes, and I go, is this? He goes, no, this isn't pod racing. Because normally when we see the track, we all scream, now this is pod racing.
Pod racing.
Yeah, the thumbnail kind of, yeah.
So I don't know. I've always been kind of a fan of pod racing, just so everybody knows. I know.
Oh my God.
I know not necessarily that movie.
Yeah.
But the sport itself, the idea, the game that came out right after the movie, great game.
This version, I think,
this
version was actually better. That the one you'll see tonight on this episode. The race, whatever they're doing, whatever. Call it riot racing, but you'll see. It's a lot better. I liked it better.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But my thoughts so far on this season, I think we're heading for some great improvements. I love that. So some things I like off the bat is that they're aging. Omega's growing up. She's not looking the same as she did season 1. Her hair is growing out. She's getting a little taller.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah. I love that they brought Commander Cody back. We hadn't seen him since Order 66.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And,
you're right.
So we've seen what he's been up to. At least they didn't decommission him. He's been, taking charge of other squads. I like that he's now coming to realize maybe I'm not doing the right thing, and he disappeared at the end of episode 3. So hopefully we'll see him in some kind of arc later on in the season or next season. I like that Crosshair. I like what they're doing with Crosshair. I have a feeling him and Hunter are really going to get into it towards the end of the season. They kind
Crosshair, the John Wick of Star Wars, according to our buddy Jai.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about this season so far is Omega talks too much. They need to shut that girl up. She's just getting them into trouble.
Whoa. We need another letter from HR about, anti-Semitism, misogyny.
I didn't say women. I said this character.
That girl. Might as well throw the B word and the C word.
She reminded me of Greta Thunberg. What? No.
Is she fake getting arrested too?
If you notice, though, every predicament they've gotten into is because of her mouth, right?
But that's not just a season; that's a whole show.
I know, but you think at this point they'd get some duct tape and be like, "Girl, shut up." Anyway, but I'm enjoying this season for sure. So,
yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
I never got through the entirety of the Clone Wars, so I'm at a slight disadvantage to you guys in that respect. I did watch the last season, and I watched the first 3 seasons, and then I just cut off from there. Just so much other stuff I was watching, but I did watch the Bad Batch right from the start, and I did like the crew. It was a very interesting take on, especially coming around the Mando time when you're like, okay, so I see where we're going. We're just gonna pick up random kids now, and we're just gonna do this as a thing. No, but having the big brother little sister thing has been good. Plus the personalities of the group always have shown through the entire way. It hasn't been like, oh, you're going to grow into this character, you're going to grow into that character. They've all been pretty consistent.
Yeah, I love Wrecker, man. Wrecker is hilarious.
Wrecker is the best. This season, starting with the little, it reminded me almost of the Pirates of the Caribbean opening, running from the people on the island. It was kind of a funny reminder of that. Plus the fact that these giant crabs can pull down a spaceship. That was
funny. That's funny.
That was a little wild.
I love how Star Wars continues to throw us these new life alien organisms that it's still entertaining, unlike Star Trek. But yeah, sorry, not a random shot at Trekkies, but something that I noticed watching that particular scene. I'm like, wow, we got organisms that can do this, like crustaceans. But go ahead, Chris.
No, it started out fun, and like you said, it kind of moved back into. It didn't quite get to the depth of like an Andor, like so. In the third episode, they meet a guy on this world, and he's a survivor, and he tells Omega about toys. Like she's never had a toy, I'm assuming, in her entire life here. And he gives her like a kaleidoscope and he says, this is from my culture that's all lost and whatever. And that kind of, even if you're not getting into it, something I did know that the Clone Wars would hint at things that were deeper about Star Wars, even if it didn't always get really far in them. Like the clones that would try to escape and would be a hidden farmer on a planet, and then the war comes to him. Those were kind of interesting episodes that hinted at deeper, not just depth for the clones, but depth for the universe as well. And I was happy to see this coming into this show where they're not just, okay, we're going back and forth, we're doing odd jobs for the green lady, the frog lady, and adventure ensues, right?
Wanda Sykes.
Yeah. So we're getting this a little more depth. Now at the end of the last season, that where they found out that why did I say sniper?
Crosshair.
Crosshair. Where they found out Crosshair, his chip didn't work, but he was choosing to stay with the Empire. So this is definitely a continuation of that, and it showed last season that this show can have that kind of tone, and it keeps it interesting for the older crowd as well as the fun adventure Star Warsy stuff that they do for us as well.
Yeah,
so I thought that was.
I was gonna say that's a great point that you mentioned. Going back to what I was trying to get at with the tone, it's not every single character. Like for example, Omega's still Omega. To Mike's point earlier, chatty, and Wrecker. But Crosshair, he's got some little Easter eggs about his character. For example, he's like a good soldier, follows orders. I think that was episode 3, and it carries through the theme of that episode, and you get to understand. Maybe not a younger child watching the show, but like an older person who might be familiar with military and history, world history, and military warfare. You start to see how certain people are doing the things they're doing, not because they believe in the ideologies of the people they're following. It's just because that's what they've been trained to do. Despite the fact that you've got your allies, your brothers in arms, like the Bad Batch, who are against it, he still feels like he's got to stay on mission because that's all. When he's sitting in the cafeteria by himself, he's alienated. That to me was a very powerful scene there, and it's so quiet. It didn't really attract that much attention. And then by the end of the show, he's now like running the shop for the most part under the Empire's Imperial officer. So I think that's a great point you're trying to make with the tone, and some of the stuff is more mature, and it's not just every character, but it's curious characters. But I didn't think they were really focused on Crosshair. I thought it would be more. What's the name of the leader?
Hunter.
The Rambo Hunter.
Yeah.
I thought they would be focusing more on Hunter because of his leadership role with the Bad Batch, and him having to be held accountable for the group, and Omega, and then he would be evolving, and he would be like, growing up with issues. But no, it's these secondary characters that you're really getting into as far as that's the evolution of the characters.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to shout out the scene where the officer shoots the clone. Was it the clone who wouldn't, or the other officer who wouldn't?
No, he shoots a clone. He shoots a clone. It's a clone.
Okay,
yeah.
Because the clone was going to write it up as it happened and mentioned the Bad Batch, and he's like, "No, I was in charge when they died. I can't have that on my record that they're alive.
Yeah.
So you got to change it." And he's like, "I can't change it." And he's like, "I can."
And you start to see the corruption. You start to see the corruption of the Empire once they're taken. Because they also told you how they're starting to replace the clones, which we know is going to happen, with stormtroopers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who are effectively human with their own sense of corruption and ideology, which we'll see later on in Andor.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a great, again, the Easter egg that I'm not sure if the whole audience kind of got it the way we did, but I thought as Dave Filoni did a good job with Episode 3 on trying to tie in this whole post Order 66 and then the Empire.
Right. I think the most interesting here, because we have the Bad Batch, we have the Mandalorian, and Andor, all kind of hovering in this area, and it could have all been, hey, these are the adventures that happened in between these two other adventures. But what we're actually seem to be getting more of is, here's more depth of what happened. So in Andor, it's the rebellion. In the Bad Batch, well, it's the Bad Batch. And it would be interesting to see more about the clone to Stormtrooper shift. Give us more in the Stormtroopers. And not to make us feel sorry for Stormtroopers, but to understand that. What is that like? What is it being recruited from your home world? What are the people like before Finn? I'm sure there was another trooper who rebelled, or at least tried to get away, and what happened to him? Obviously, he didn't become a Jedi or anything. Yeah, boot camp. That kind of stuff could be really fascinating and be more interesting in the long run than just another exciting adventure.
That's a great idea, Chris. You're giving Lucasfilm and Disney Star Wars these ideas for free, man. Come on, that's a great idea. The more you're explaining to me, the more I'm like, yeah, you could freaking.
Dude, do what was the movie I'm thinking of?
Don't know.
With Clint Eastwood, and he's the drill sergeant. Is it Hamburger Hill?
No, not Hamburger Hill. I just watched this, not Hacksaw.
Hacksaw Ridge?
Hacksaw Ridge. Yes. Yes, okay. Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge.
One of my favorite movies of his, yeah.
But with stormtroopers.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be
and Clint Eastwood's character could be one of the last clones that are left teaching them.
Right.
Yeah. Knowing that he's teaching his replacements because he's going to be out of service. Again, Lucasfilm, Disney Star Wars, man.
You never know. I mean, they could have.
Dude, I got all the ideas. They just gotta pay me.
They don't have it in the works, Mike. We know they don't have it in the works.
Yo, man, Rian Johnson's gonna come out with this awesome trilogy, and it's gonna be this whole story, and
it's gonna be Benoit Blanc.
That's right.
Yeah, and don't forget the Game of Thrones guys are gonna come back too and give us another trilogy of their own.
Yeah, that's true.
It's gonna be, yeah.
Did they get fired from Luke? Who got fired? Didn't they? No, it was. Who was the brothers who got let go from Solo for making it too comedic?
Oh, the guys who made the Lego movie.
The Lego movie guys. That's right.
I know one of them first name is Chris. I can't remember the last name though. Chris and something brothers. That's all I remember.
So yeah,
it's not the Russo brothers.
No. Real quick. So one thing I hope for this season though for Bad Batch is I want them to leave Sid and that bar. I don't want to see every week Sid's got another job for them to do. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like that's one way you can do this show, but it gets
stale.
repetitive.
I mean, the main reason. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is they need some currency. They need to be able to travel with some sort of to live their livelihood, and that's the only way they can do that at the moment. So I get why they're doing it.
I understand that for sure. But I'm hoping something else comes along. They can move away.
Oh, they do a heist, kind of like an Andor.
They tried. They failed.
By the way, so Chris, you haven't seen this episode yet, but I'm going to mention this to James. They need to get civvy clothes. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Yeah, they stand out. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, what's her name? The new character pops up and she's like, he's got like paint on he's got like half a skull face and he sticks out like a sore thumb. Can we not wear our giant armor and our
that's the problem. They were wearing it everywhere, and I'm like, you're trying to be in hiding, and so
they'll
put like a cloak on over it, and you're like, you still Wrecker, you don't look.
Yeah, see, you can see the Imperial Intelligence how dumb they are because I mean, after seeing Andor, you see why they don't really talk about their sectors. They don't share information. Yeah. So they probably have these guys. The Bad Batch is probably in so many HoloNet freaking photos. They just don't go anywhere. They don't go back to the Empire because, these little sectors don't talk.
Right.
No, but somebody will look it up and go, oh, they're dead. Someone must have stole their armor. Okay, everything's good.
Yeah. All right.
See, it's in the report. They're dead. We're good. We don't have
dead.
To go check it out.
I don't want to do extra work I don't have to do.
That's right. Hey, if what's his name hadn't done extra work, we wouldn't have the entirety of Andor.
That's very true.
Mall cops. All right. Why don't we take a break for a minute, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the first episode of The Last of Us. Another great Pedro Pascal performance.
Yo, he's killing it, man.
Last episode of The Last of Us.
It used to be Michael B. Jordan or Jonathan Majors. Now it's Pedro Pascal, man.
Yep.
We should get that guy in Star Wars.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You don't see his face enough, I guess.
Probably not. He's not.
You forget he's in it. Like,
yeah, you barely see his face. But his voice is now very recognizable.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back.
All right, good. All right, we are back, everybody, and we're here to talk about the first episode of The Last of Us, the HBO Max, right? HBO Max
slash HBO. It's also broadcast on
slash
over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Slash HBO. Mm-hmm. It is the live action television version of the video game of the same name, The Last of Us, which I have not played any of them. Have either of you guys played The Last of Us at all?
I own it, but I have yet to play it. So it's been on my list.
Yeah, Eric played it, but refused to watch the show with me the other day. So.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but he did tell me, like, him being himself. By the way, the science is true, Dad. The science is true. You should look it up. Google it. And I'm like, really, dude? This 14-year-old telling me about science.
Do your research, man. Do your research.
Do your research. I haven't seen anything on Facebook, so I can't do my research.
That's right.
All my research comes from Facebook. Right.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
No, seriously. So this is based on the PlayStation Studios video game written by Neil Druckmann. The television version is written by Craig Mazin, starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, and it follows the Mr. Pedro Pascal's Joel as he a zombie outbreak caused by some sort of mushroom spore thing, and kills his daughter, and he has to survive an apocalypse afterwards, and then he kind of does what he does in The Mandalorian, and he takes a small child under his wing. Not a little not quite as small, not quite as powerful, but a special powered small child under his wing, and he has to travel with that child.
This is the way.
I was expecting when his brother saw him, for him to go, Mando! Like the Carl Weathers and Pedro Pascal. I was waiting for that moment. It didn't happen.
No, but seriously, this is definitely drama horror based television series, and so far, why don't you guys tell me what you think so far, and if there's any important plot points that I missed that I should talk about? Because
Mike, you go first this time.
Yeah, so first off, it's good seeing Pedro. You barely see him anywhere. Like, he doesn't get a lot of work.
That's right.
So,
little hidden guy.
It's nice. Nice.
I like his comeback. Yeah, his resurgence in Hollywood's good.
Him and Brendan Fraser. Yeah, it's good to see them back.
Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, and Bella Ramsey, who plays the little girl. She's also from Game of Thrones, just like Pedro was. She played Lyanna Mormont.
Same season too. Yeah,
one of my favorite characters. The kick-ass little girl who took over for the Mormont family in Game of Thrones and was, died a horrible death, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But, good character. So she's a good actress, I think. A good little kid actress. And actually, I think she's like 18 or something. So not really a kid anymore. But, I mean, for the show itself, like I said, I never played the game. I knew what the game was about, of like zombies or whatever. And I'd been meaning to get to it, but never got to it.
Are they really zombies? We could talk about that at the end. Okay.
They are hosts. They are hosts to the parasites, right? Yeah, we know.
There you go. Hive mind hosts.
Right. So,
wait, is that a spoiler? Thanks.
No, this is me guessing. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I
haven't played the game.
I'm not sure either.
But from the science that Eric told me to research, that's how.
Do your research.
Yeah.
Google it, man.
My thesis is they're not zombies. They're just being taken over by fungi.
Yeah.
Group or whatever it is, organisms, to do their bidding and replicate. It's not really zombies. If you watch the zombie shows, zombies don't have a hive mind or a purpose. They're just zombies.
Right.
So does that mean if they drank bleach, they'd get better? Where have I heard that before?
Although
seems like a
you can inject it, right?
Because it would kill. It would kill the spores.
Can you get the light right in the body somehow to kill
That's
the
right. Through the
virus?
Or put nice little steak sauce on them and it kills them. I don't know.
But didn't that Zack Snyder
high heat steak sauce?
That Zack Snyder zombie movie? They had like a hive thing, didn't they? Didn't they have like a leader?
No, they had a hierarchy.
No,
they had a hierarchy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just like it's like an I Am Legend. There was like an alpha zombie. Yeah.
So far, none of that here. But I guess we'll see, right? And so I don't know too much about the story either. I like what I've seen so far. It's very interesting because I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of zombied out. Like there's so much zombie stuff now. Like over the last few years.
Walking Dead has been airing for 20 years.
Exactly. It's the
Walking Dead kickstarted. Yeah. True. That is true.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to
those are mostly
watching some
slow.
more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, James.
I like both of you guys. I've never played the game. I've heard of it, but I knew with the cast that was announced when the show was being greenlit that it would be at least a decent film. And then we watched Resident Evil. Or at least Mike and I did. So all of a sudden, my my anticipation for the movie went down a bit after watching Resident Evil.
Got through 4 episodes, so I meant to finish it.
Oh, don't bother.
The worst show of 2022.
Yeah. So, but then knowing it's HBO, not Netflix, and I hate to say this, Netflix, not a shot at you guys. I was like, it's highly unlikely this show will be terrible. It might be mediocre, but it won't be terrible. So I waited. I knew it came out. Everybody was talking about it previews, and I waited to the last possible moment, and I watched it. Didn't realize it was 90 minutes until I was like 10 minutes in. I looked at the counter. I'm like, holy shit. So I got another 80 minutes of content. And by the time the show ended, I think I texted you guys immediately with the closing credits song. I was like, this was a pretty good premiere. I mean, I'm not going to say it wowed me and floored me.
Right.
I think there's some moments, some scenes, like a lot of them in the beginning. The cold open itself was well done by, and Mike and I were talking about it when we were off air. The gentleman from the Mummy trilogy who also played on Spartacus, a show that was on Skinemax,
Showtime.
back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Showtime. He was the doctor that was telling us about the pandemic. Who cares? Viral bacteria. I'm not afraid of those. Meanwhile, we just came out of COVID. I mean, we're still going through COVID, I should say. He's talking about fungi. I'm like, the stuff from Mario Brothers? He's like, no, the fungi that invade your body and take you over as host. That I think that moment was really well done, and then also the beginning of when everything started falling apart was really well done.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I like certain shows that do that well. Like The Walking Dead really didn't do it until they did the spinoffs to show you what happened, how the collapse happened.
Right.
Very few shows really dig into that. Some movies do, like the Rob Zombie movies, whatever. Some of them, they show you the collapse of civilization as it's happening, which is always great to see. Like, what gets us to the point where we're wearing like the Raiders outfits and flamethrowers and we're surviving, between that moment and we're working a 9 to 5. Like, what happened before that,
I think World War Z did a good job of that,
dude.
too.
I have that outfit prepared.
Yes, World War Z did a good job.
To not go to work tomorrow and be wearing shoulder pads and have a flamethrower. Like, it's just tomorrow.
Chris threw out all the mushrooms in his house immediately after watching the show. You're not getting me. My trusty dog will be able to smell it before it happens. But yeah, and then the latter half to me kind of dipped, and I don't know, because they were focusing on some plot exposition or some character intros, so it kind of sagged a bit until you got to like the last 5-10 minutes. So I think overall this was a great premiere. I know we're not grading anything, but I want to say this was mid to a little bit above mid, not excellent.
Right.
Really enjoyed it, and again, like we joke, Pedro Pascal is killing it. Like that dude seems like he's on a track to be one of the greatest actors, at least action wise, in a long time.
Yeah, I can forgive him.
Not just action wise.
I can forgive him for 184.
Yeah, you're right. Not just action. Like, he knows how to carry the role and make it serious.
Yeah, because I just watched him in the Nicolas Cage movie last year, where he's kind of a little bit more comedic.
Yeah,
and something you don't see him much in the other roles that we watch him a lot in, and he nailed all of that very well. I thought it was wonderful. All right, so what I found interesting about this first episode is it basically the first quarter, at least, if not almost the first half, not quite, stars Nico Parker as the Pedro Pascal's daughter, and it's all her, like
real life actress, daughter of Danny Newton, HBO fave.
Right. So Pedro Pascal shows up in the beginning, and he jets off to work, or he's got to go pick up his brother after he gets a phone call, and it's all about her and her acting and her connecting with her and that character So you're almost at the father's level when she dies. I hate to. I mean, it happens halfway, 3/4 of the way through the first episode, so it's not too much of a spoiler. But if you haven't watched it, I guess it's a spoiler. I'm surprised you're watching this. But getting you invested in that character.
Yeah.
Chris had a Keith moment. He had a Keith moment.
It's okay. Hopefully the recording is fine. That's okay. Yeah.
Getting you invested in that character as deeply as possible before ripping her away from you and her father, so that when you see Pedro Pascal shoveling dead bodies, throwing dead, possibly dead, I wasn't quite sure, bodies into that fire pit, and then asking for more work. And the guy telling him, shoveling shit or something is work, and dealing drugs and whatever else he has to do. Like, you believe he is just, he's done with humanity, and humanity has lost its humanity. Another important bit about where this is going is it's the soldier killing the kid and
Yeah.
planning to kill both of them, and then these soldiers running this town. You know, it's that loss of humanity, the collapse of society in a expected way. Um, that pulled you along in this. It's not action packed by any means. Just little bits here and there that are exciting and interesting, but for the most part, it's really about that drama of and character connection that you're getting. And I hope we get that with the new girl, Bella Ramsey, Ellie. I assume we're going to get that. Obviously, they're going to move on to her now and
Right.
understand more about her. And obviously, she's important to this world and what obviously something about fixing the problem. But we'll get to that later. That's what I thought was interesting.
Seems like she's the cure. You know, I already put that
Yeah,
together in my head.
Right.
yeah, pretty expected. Um, not too much of a surprise, but the drama seems to be in the characters, which is what they were managed to do in this in the first half, and then ripping that character away from you. So the showrunners aren't against giving you a character you like just to get rid of them. By the way, if you like that sort of thing, I have a feeling this show's gonna.
So here's what I did. I did a little bit of research. I didn't want to get into the video game stories because I think some people already spoiled a couple things. They're saying like the events that happen, you know, for the most part, happen as in the game.
Right.
But in my review of the showrunners, I didn't realize it, and I think Mike, you watched the show. It's the same guys who did the Chernobyl
Right.
miniseries
Yeah.
last year or 2 years ago. I forgot. And
this
remember that was a
year,
that was a slow burn show itself, but still like the acting was pretty well. Now there wasn't a lot of action bits. It wasn't like, you know, zombies and running around and planes diving into. But I think the way that show was well directed and well written, I'm hoping, you know, it's the same consistency with this show where these guys are putting they have a story to tell you, and they're going to have very specific scenes where it's going to prove a point about that narrative, like they did in Chernobyl. Plus zombies, you know, running around eating people.
Yeah, I guess so. The writer for the show, he's got some weird credits though. Like Chernobyl was great, and so far The Last of Us is great. And he also wrote some Mythic Quest episodes, which were funny.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the weird thing is, he was the writer for Scary Movie 3 and 4 and Superhero Movie. So he's got some terrible
shit.
Some bombs as well.
Whoa.
So he's really hitting.
Man, he's cashing them checks.
I know.
That's right.
Hangover
Those are probably
2,
weekend knockouts.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'll get those done on a weekend, and I'll spend.
Scream 3, no problem.
That's right. So did you guys have like a favorite shot? Like one of my favorite shots was it was actually really low key where the girl, she's at the neighbor's house and she's like she's picking out like a movie off of their shelf. By the way, this is 2003, so there was no streaming. Right? And she's picking a movie off the shelf, and you over her shoulder, out of focus, you see the old woman in the chair start to make this like weird, empty facial expression, very horror related, and then she just walks out of shot, right? And then that's all you see until later. So I thought that was really well executed and very smart to keep things slow burning in the background, but to let you know stuff's going on.
What's going on? What did you? I got three shots real quick before Mike goes. 3. One was very early on. You notice something is amiss when she's in when Nicole Parker, I forgot her character's name. She's in the classroom and she notices the flashing on her hands as she's writing, and it happens to be from a student next to her who has like a shiny jewelry, but his mannerism looks kind of a little bit off. Kind of like he's having like a seizure, but not a full seizure. Like the way his arms are moving are not natural, I should say. So in my mind, I'm thinking, "Oh shit, this dude's already infected. Like his brain is like going through it." That's one.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I I remember the
go back and
flashing.
watch it.
Okay.
Because he wasn't doing it like he was flipping his finger. He was just having like a little tremor in his left arm, and the jewelry was catching the light at the right time. Second one to me that was hilarious though, but I was very memorable was the dog. When she wakes up and notices everything's going helter skelter, her dad's missing. The dog comes running at the door.
Yeah.
I hope it's not CGI, but for a second it looks like the dog has a look on his face like, get me out of here! I've never seen a dog's eyes that wide unless it was animated. Like the dog jumped, paws up, and you look at his face. It looked like his eyes was twice the size that it should be normally. So I hope it wasn't CGI for make more effect. And then the last scene was I'm a sucker for plane crashes. Ever since Lost and Castaway and Alive and all those movies, when they showed you that angle when that plane that 747 is coming in at that angle, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They're running, and it explodes.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for shit like that, dude. That was a very memorable scene. That's mine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mike.
So,
Mike,
those are all great scenes. Nothing really stuck out in my head, but Chris, the one with the grandma for sure. Like I hadn't even thought about it till you mentioned it again. But there was some great camera work. I need to rewatch it because I was kind of more paying attention to the characters and the storyline, than the actual filming of the show. But I need to go back and watch it again. Take a look.
Yeah, we had watched the first half hour, and then somebody new came in the room, so we restarted it. So we kind of got to see that first half hour again.
Right.
And my son mentioned the car, that you're in the vehicle with them. This isn't like you never back out and watch the vehicle from a distance like happens sometimes. You're in the vehicle. They're afraid. You're looking at the other occupants, and then you're like, okay, oh no, there's traffic. We're gonna go over the field. Oh no, there's the military. Go to town. Oh no, there's a crowd. Just back up. Oh no, there's an airplane. And so until the car blows up, you are in the car with them, and it's creating tension in otherwise, I don't want to say innocuous moments because everybody's scared as it's just starting, but it's higher tension because you're not escaped. You're in it with them. They're all freaked out. They all don't know where to go. They're all stuck. As stuck as the car is, you are stuck in the car. And the car can't get out of town.
Chris, you know what that reminded me of? Do you remember War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise? When the aliens were first attacking? There's a scene when he's in the truck also, before he runs out, and he's driving through, and the camera shows you from his vantage point inside the vehicle and crashing. It doesn't last as long as this did. It's probably maybe 30 to 45 seconds before the car crashes and he gets out, and then he does the infamous sprint. But that scene to me was like everything's happening, people are getting zapped, but you're still in the car with Tom Cruise. Like you're not outside watching it. You're in the vehicle with them, and you're seeing the melee all around him, and you see his panic on his face before he crashes and he gets out.
Yeah.
I think this scene probably did it a little bit better because they lengthened it, they stretched it out a little further, and there's so much happening, not just in his little, within 30 feet radius of his vehicle, but they showed you the vantage point of seeing like the military, how far they are on the highway. And his daughter was like, "That's a good thing, right?" He goes, "No, maybe for them." That was. I think that was again. I hope these directors are following a pattern or a vision, because so far I think that it was good. It was good. I don't want to get too much into the direction, but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Just tell your kids, if they see a blood trail in a house, do not follow the damn blood trail.
We better
what the hell are you doing? I'm like, at best, that family has been attacked and someone broke in. That's your best case scenario, and you don't want any part of
Exactly.
that. Just get the hell out.
You see, the dog doesn't want to go there. I'm like, the dog again. That dog, my second favorite actor besides Pedro Pascal. When she was trying to drag him back, he was like, woo! He did the Scooby-Doo legs moving while he's still there and bolted. And she still went in.
Oh, I have to
stupid.
I have to say, there's so much that we can talk about, like the close-up shot of the mushrooms or the spore coming out of the
near the
mouth
end. Yeah,
of the first
that was good.
The first zombie.
That was good. That looks like practical effects too.
the running over the person in the street, and then the neighbor coming out and going, "Oh my God, I can't believe you ran him over," and then them getting jumped and you see it from
Attacked
the vehicle.
from the back of the you see from the vehicle, yeah.
Yeah.
Little stuff, all the little stuff, all great stuff. So yeah, that's really good. We watched it as a group. And
how many episodes is this, by the way? Yeah, how many episodes we have in this show?
9 coming up this
9?
Season. Yeah.
Oh, 8 more. Okay.
Yeah,
they're probably not all the same length. Like, they're not all 90 minutes, right? This is probably the only one that was 90 minutes because it's premiere.
Yeah, I probably
and maybe the finale.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think we'll plan on revisiting this at the end. If it's something super exciting halfway through, maybe we'll talk about it. But there's a lot of other stuff going on this year. I'm not sure we'll get to it.
Pedro Pascal's character dies. Like, holy shit. Didn't see that coming.
The girl wasn't the cure.
They're really going off script on this
anyway.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
The zombies were right all along. All right. The zombies can vote? What? All right. All right, guys. That's it. That's it for tonight. Thank you for joining me. Everybody, thank you for joining us for Happy 2023. And we'll be back to talk about all sorts of awesome...
Hey, real quick.
Media.
Yeah, for those who are into the video games... Sorry. Real quick, Chris. To the audience, for those who are into the video games and know the story, please don't spoil it in the comments section as you watch this podcast and kind of tell us what we got right or wrong. Because I'm trying to watch this show without knowing anything about the video game. So for the video gamers out there, please try not to spoil it in the comments section.
Yeah,
Mike's like, that's exactly what's going to happen, James. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, those will be right underneath the one guy's asking us to watch that one movie every week. I'm calling you out, dude. We get it. You want us to see the movie. We'll get to it if we can. I don't know how many times I got to say it.
Yeah, we've already got Brahmastra planned.
Brahmastra, yeah.
That's got to go first.
Hey, man, I want to see it. Maybe the guy knows something we don't, Mike. Come on, man. Give him a chance. I want to watch it, too.
I'm not saying no. I
think he's making money off it.
Yeah.
Hold
on, I just got a Venmo notification from.
Look, if he wants,
what's that guy's name?
If he wants us to watch it, he can place an ad on.
That's right.
On the show,
promoting the movie. Yeah, that's all.
There we go.
That's right.
Alrighty.
Real promote. Put some money behind it.
That's right.
No, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining me, guys, and we will see you soon.
See you next time.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.